Today I am chatting with one of our Teacher Resource Academy members, Kama, who is just killing it on Teachers Pay Teachers. She just recently made a top 1% seller. She is making four-figure months. Her TPT store is paying for her child's daycare, and she's even considering potentially staying home with her baby, which is just so exciting. She didn't want to show her face, but you can hear the audio here. And she talks about her experience before finding TRA, how she was listing resources, but it wasn't really making any traction. And then once she joined TRA, her resources really just took off. She gives some really specific tips about finding gaps in the market, which is like gold. She also talks about how she was able to quickly churn out like almost 150 resources in one summer, which is wild. So this is an episode you don't want to miss. Let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone, to the Teacher Business School podcast. I am your host, Lindsay Bowden, and I love these episodes. These are one of my favorite types of episodes where I get to chat with one of the members in Teacher Resource Academy. So today I have our member, Kama, and she is going to share about her experience on Teachers Pay Teachers and her experience in our program. So welcome, Kama. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So to start off, tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to open a TPT store.
Yeah, so right now I am a third grade teacher. I'm still teaching full time, and I am a first time mom. So I have a daughter. She's 10 months old now.
Oh, wow.
She's walking all over and definitely keeping me on my toes.
I love that.
So I initially opened up my TPT store in January of 2023, kind of a way and try to make some extra money to help pay for our wedding. We were getting married in May of the next year. And I was just kind of sharing things that I was making for my own classroom, which was preschool at the time. And that area on TPT is really there's a lot there. So it's kind of hard to stand out. And I wasn't really consistent or putting a lot of effort into it until I joined your program, which was about a year later.
Awesome. And were you already making resources for your classroom and then kind of like put those on TPT, or what happened there?
Yeah, I was making it for my classroom, and they weren't very like formal or professional, I guess.
Yeah.
It was just kind of things that I was using, but I didn't really like market it, I guess, very well initially.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of teachers that they go from like classroom resources and they just post them on TPT. And they're like, well, I'm just going to put this up and see what happens. But they don't realize, especially in lower elementary, like you have to list them the right way or you will not be found and you will not make sales.
Exactly. That's exactly what was happening.
Yeah. Even if your resources are fabulous, you're in the sea of other resources. And if you don't have like a cover or thumbnails or a preview, you're just going to get lost in the search results, which happens. I see this all the time. And I think when that happens, teachers are just like, well, TPT doesn't work. I'm like, no, it works. You just like, you're so close. You have like these amazing resources and you just need to, do that little few extra steps and then you can make a ton of money, which is cool. Okay, well, that's really cool. So, and I love that you're a lower elementary teacher because I do feel like, even third grade, a lot of teachers feel like the market is, and I'm quoting like quote unquote, saturated. And I don't believe it's saturated, but there is competition. And so, especially if you're in lower grades, you have to really know what you're doing. Okay, so you were already listing on TPT and you said you really didn't have a lot of sales. And then how did you find out about Teacher Resource Academy and me?
So I found TRA on Facebook. It just kind of came up and it really resonated with what I was going through my own teacher's store. Just that I wasn't really making sales, and it was just kind of intriguing to me. It was like, do you want to learn how to make resource? And I was like, yeah. So I joined and I did your challenge.
Okay.
And then that's how I got started.
Did you do it in the summer? Was it summer?
I think I joined in March.
Oh, in March. Okay. Very cool. Okay. So you did our challenge, you joined the program, and then after you joined the program, kind of tell me what happened with your TPT store.
After I joined your program, I basically really treated it as an investment in myself. So I didn't want to just have all this information and not use it.
Yes.
So I really just dove into the information and the courses, and yeah.
So you had already started a store, but you were kind of in a niche, like the preschool niche. And then once you joined, did you switch to like third grade or were you still trying to do preschool as well? Or what happened there?
So I taught preschool until May that year, and then the next year I moved to third grade.
Got
So
it.
that's kind of how it shifted.
That makes sense. Okay. And you were creating resources during maternity leave. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So initially, I started making a bunch of resources because I was looking for things for like my class while I was out on maternity leave,
Ah,
and I just couldn't find what I needed. So
yes.
I ended up making it myself. And those were the resources that actually started to kind of take off because, I mean, they weren't there before. So I was looking for them, and then other teachers were clearly looking for them too.
Okay, that's really cool. So you like kind of stumbled upon a gap in the market.
Right.
That's just, the same thing happened to me. When I first started, there was this huge high school math seller, and like everyone purchased from her. She's like the queen of high school math. She still is. She's amazing. But her resources were really like high level and rigorous, and they were too hard for my students. And so I was like, I need like lower level math resources. And when I started making those and listing them, they took off. So it's like I didn't even know what a gap in the market back then was. But that's really cool. That's what happened to you too. So tell us the name of your store and kind of how it's going now.
My store is called Extraordinary Enrichment,
Okay.
and it's going really well. I actually made the top 1% for my November sales, which was
Yes.
crazy. I still have like imposter syndrome a little bit about it.
You're like, wait, really? Me?
Yeah. So it's going really well.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on the top 1%. I mean, that is huge. And I feel like really fast. Like that happened pretty fast.
Yeah. I was I was really shocked actually.
That's amazing. How many resources do you have in your store now?
I have like 350 roughly.
Wow. So you've been like really turning out resources.
Yes.
Okay, I have two questions then about that. So, what are your top sellers? Is there like a kind of like a theme you see with your top sellers?
Most of it is math related. So
Okay.
it's usually things that are like I teach gifted students. So a
Uh,
lot of my math stuff is kind of like in the gap between third grade and fourth grade. And then
okay.
also fourth grade and fifth grade. So those are the things that are kind of doing well, things that like kind of bridge from one grade level to the next.
Interesting. Okay. And then how do you have time to make so many resources if you're still teaching and you have a 10-month-old? Like, I want to know this.
Yeah, so over the summer, actually, she was born in February. So over the
Okay.
summer, she was still napping a lot,
Yes.
wasn't moving very much.
Isn't it so
So
easy before they become mobile and then you're like, what happened?
so I was able to get a lot done. I ended the year with like 150 resources in May, and by August I had 300 resources in my store.
That's insane. Do you have any tips for quickly creating resources? Like, what are you doing? I need like a step by step here.
There's this thing, it's called Bulk Creator, and it's made by Bearwood Labs.
Yes.
That was something that really helped because I was able to just kind of like create templates really quickly and then input my information.
Love that. Okay. So that's what you're doing. And then I'm sure you have templates for like your covers and like the uploading part
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. We actually have, I think we have a code for Bearwood Labs we'll put in the show notes. I don't use the bulk creator, but I do. I love his like the flatten and secure stuff. I like his crossword puzzle maker, his word search maker. So he has a lot of really cool things.
Mhm.
Um, Very interesting. Very cool. Okay. So you are turning out resources over the summer when you're out of school and you just hit top 1% seller, which is incredible. I know that you have posted in our group you're making four-figure months, which is awesome. How does that feel?
It feels really good.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping to one day be able to stay home with my
Yeah.
daughter, more kids, Lord willing. But so I'm just really trying to get it going even more so that I feel financially safe with
Yeah.
that decision.
It's really nice to have the freedom to even think about that,
Mhm.
to have the ability to start thinking through like maybe I could stay home with my baby. It's exciting. I remember when I first realized like, oh my gosh, this could actually work. Like
Yeah.
how? This is crazy. People want my stuff that I made and I'm actually helping people. It's a good feeling. Okay, so I want to talk about I know that you kind of stumbled upon this gap in the market when you were on maternity leave, but are you doing anything now to find new gaps in the market, or how does that work?
I kind of use the same process where if I'm looking for something and I can't find it,
Yeah.
then I'll try to make that. But now I also like to use Seller Spy. I have the premium version, so I don't know which tools are for which versions.
Right.
But one that I like is the keyword generator. So I usually use that initially to kind of find ideas, and I just type in something that's related to my niche or what I'm working on in my classroom, and then it will give you a whole list of keywords and phrases that people are searching for. And then I try to use that to find something with high popularity and low competition, and then I start creating from there.
That's super smart. Especially, I always recommend for teachers in lower elementary, I would say third and lower, pre-K through third grade, because there is so much more competition, like find the gaps in the market. I'm going to do a whole episode about finding gaps in the market. So I was on Seller Spy this morning and I found this keyword for preschool, or I guess it would be kindergarten, CVC Christmas words, and it was green, green. And I feel like a lot of teachers are like, well, everything with CVC sight words has been done before. But that's such a I feel like a common theme, but it was green, green. I posted it in our Facebook group. Actually, I'm like, whoever's doing kindergarten, you need to jump on this and make one like now, because there are still gaps. You just have to search for them and find them. And I love that you use Seller Spy. I think Seller Spy is such a good tool. I had Colleen, the creator, on the podcast, and I wish I had that when I had first started. There wasn't anything like that. And now there are so many tools out there. Do you use any other tools besides Seller Spy and then the Bearwood Labs stuff?
No, I've kind of been looking into some other stuff, like
Yeah.
the SEO Mantis that you
Yes.
showed not that long ago, but I haven't gotten anything yet. So,
Yeah. It's cool to see that you can be a top 1% seller and not have to pay for every single tool out there. I feel like you can definitely get started and make a significant amount of money before having to purchase a lot of tools if you get the right training and you're listing your resources the right way. So that's really cool. Okay, let's see. So let's kind of shift gears here and talk about being a mom and a full-time teacher and listing on TPT. I know you talked about you were working in the summer and you were working during nap time. That's exactly how I got started. But do you have any other tips for full-time teachers for kind of balancing TPT and work? And then if they're a mom on top of that, anything that's worked for you?
I would just say just being really intentional with the time that you do have to work on it. And one thing that I do is make lists. So, I write out a lot of the stuff that I want to get done.
Yeah.
And then I'm a person that will cross off everything that I can.
Yes.
And so that's just probably the main thing, is just being really intentional with the time that I do have. And also, if you can get, my mom will watch my daughter or my husband or just someone so that there's not really many distractions, so that you can focus for just an hour or two.
Yeah, super smart. I definitely feel like having chunks of time, it's hard to have just 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, but if you can have a chunk where this is my dedicated work time, you can really get a lot done, especially if you have the templates like you were talking about. Incredible. Well, for teachers listening who might feel like you did, they may have a TPT store, but nothing is selling, or maybe they haven't even started on TPT yet because they just don't feel like there's room for them. Do you have any advice or encouragement for them?
I would say just start. I still kind of have that imposter syndrome where I can't believe this is people are buying my stuff. I feel like you're always going to feel like that.
Yes.
You just have to get started and really dive into it. So for me, I saw a lot of growth, I guess, the more that I was sharing and posting. So that, I guess, that would be my advice, to just really dive in, get started, and stay consistent as much as you can.
Yeah. And what about teachers that are thinking, I'm just going to try to do it all myself and figure this out by myself, try to start the store, list the products, kind of like you did in the beginning, like you had started with pre-K and you were listing products, but they weren't really selling. What would you say to them?
I guess I would say that it doesn't hurt to have help. Specifically, I was able to make my money back from investing in just a few months, and now I've made more money than I ever thought I could. So I think getting that help at the start is actually a lot better than trying to do it all yourself. because you know how to start. Whereas you're not just guessing and seeing what might work, what might not.
Yeah, I feel like you're paying for speed, right? Like you could probably eventually figure it out, piece 1,000 YouTube videos together. But if you want results more quickly, like having someone in your corner that knows what they're talking about can really help. I do feel like teachers struggle to ask for help and to accept help. I was like that. I don't know if you ever felt like that, but like we're so used to having to just figure everything out on our own with little to no help that we struggle to say, I can't and don't have to do it all on my own. It's okay to accept help, to invest in this as a business and learn from someone who's been there, done that, and can save me from mistakes.
Exactly.
Okay, anything else, Kama, that you want to share with us before we wrap this up? We'll definitely put your store link in the show notes so everyone can check you out. And if we have any third grade teachers, buy all your stuff.
I can't think of anything else.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. This has been incredible. So glad that you joined us in TRA. When you make those posts about, I think one of them said that your TPT store was paying for your daycare bill. That was you, right?
Yeah.
When I read that, I was like, what? Like I fell out of my chair. That was just, it's really cool to see that TPT can pay for real bills. Like it's not just coffee money, I guess, which can be incredible, but like it's making a real impact on people. That is exactly why I started this program. So it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, she wouldn't be able to go to daycare if it wasn't for teachers pay teachers. So
Wow.
yeah.
And then hopefully eventually you'll be able to stay with her. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being here, Kama. And for anyone who is interested in joining Kama and all the other educators inside of Teacher Resource Academy, I do have a free training. You can check that out at lindsaybowden.com/training. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.